Welcome into another edition of the Extra Point Show. I am your host, Nick Rice. Week 11 of the greatest team season began with a classic football game yet again on Thursday night. In fact, one of the great football games of the year out of Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. 1972 Dolphins at the 2015 Panthers. Two of the great football teams in NFL history in Charlotte. We were destined on a Thursday night too for this one to be a classic, and it was. The game went to overtime, won by Miami in the final few moments of the game. In fact, so close it almost appeared the game would end in a tie, but Howard Twilley reeled in a big pass from Greasy, part of his 402-yard, 4-touchdown performance, and then Garo Yepremian hit the field goal to walk it off for the Dolphins, who are now 8-2 this year, gaining an unreal 502 yards of total offense. 2009 Saints, 2020 Buccaneers. In the game between Hall of Famers Tom Brady and Drew Brees, a fireworks show broke out with a total of 553 yards and 5 touchdowns between the two QBs. Not much assistance on the ground, but they didn't need it, as the two quarterbacks combined for 73 points and one incredible football game, won by Tampa Bay 38-35. 1989 49ers, 1996 Packers. Another legendary football game that went to overtime. In the grand scheme of quarterback rankings, it seems the main difference between these two was the clutch gene of Joe Montana. After they fell behind 24-10, Montana willed the team on back-to-back touchdown drives to force overtime, but in overtime, Montana went 5 of 6, 41 more yards, and set up Mike Kofer for the overtime field goal. As you can see on the bottom, San Francisco had the better day on offense with 403 yards all-purpose in the overtime win, 27-24. Well, you could really give game balls to about a dozen different guys for this week of the year, but I've only got two. Charger Dude 95 offers his offensive and defensive players of the week. Offensive player of the week, Miami's Bob Greasy. The man was nearly perfect in Charlotte. He did throw the one interception early in the game, but bounced back with a legendary performance. And while he was sacked on a couple of occasions, he made up for it with a 402-yard effort and a win in overtime at the Panthers. Defensive Player of the Week, Bob Sanders, with 2 interceptions of Trent Dilfer, who granted has thrown his fair share of picks, but none to the same guy in the same quarter. The Colts' Bob Sanders was the difference maker in the win, 14-10 at Baltimore, and now he's got 3 interceptions for Indianapolis this season. The playoffs are in full swing through Week 11 of the greatest team season, and after St. Louis was stunned at home today against Arizona, the 49ers claim first place in the NFC West. San Francisco has one of the easiest remaining schedules of any team in the league and plays the 4-6 Jacksonville Jaguars this coming week with a chance to maintain first in the division. Meanwhile, St. Louis has a brutal upcoming matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. Another division that'll come down to the end, it's the AFC East, and while Miami leads it by a game, New England holds the head-to-head tiebreaker with their win a couple weeks ago. Miami this Sunday visits the 90 Bills, who are fighting for their playoff spot. Meanwhile, New England this Monday night is in New Orleans to battle a very good football team in the Saints. And now let's imagine if the playoffs started today in the greatest team season. If that were the case, the 72 Dolphins and the 78 Steelers would own first-round byes. Meanwhile, Denver and Indianapolis would be the 3 and 4 seeds as division leaders, with the 7 and 3 Patriots and the 6 and 4 Raiders being the 2 wild card clubs out of the AFC. Meanwhile, in the NFC, if this were to start today, San Francisco and Carolina likewise would have first-round byes. Chicago leads the NFC North. Washington is first in the NFC East by just a sliver over Dallas after their huge win against the Cowboys. Meanwhile, in the wildcard spots are the 99 Rams and the 2020 Buccaneers. Week 11 of the greatest team season is in the books. Meanwhile, Week 12, beginning with 3 Thanksgiving games, is huge for that and a couple other reasons. Here's the full slate of games for Week 12 of the year. Of the 16 games seen here, 10 of them are division matchups, most we'll see in a week all year. And it begins on Thanksgiving in the opener from Detroit, 5-5 Packers, 0-10 Lions. After the 3 Thanksgiving games, most of the remaining contests are in the early afternoon window for Week 12. A couple are late. Then the Sunday night features division rivals Pittsburgh at Baltimore. And Monday night, yet again, a matchup between Brady and Breeze, the 07 Patriots and the 09 Saints. 1976 Raiders, 1992 Cowboys. Our first game preview takes us to Jerry World at Arlington, Texas. The Cowboys own one of the easiest remaining schedules in the league and have 0 opponents left that are over 500 after Thanksgiving against the 6-4 Raiders. Oakland's Ken Stabler has played very well, leading the way for the 10th ranked offense in the league, but he hasn't gotten much help from the running game or the defense. Oakland ranks a dismal 26th in sacks and has been even worse in stopping the pass this year. 85 Bears, 98 Vikings. We've got an incredible matchup in store on Sunday between 2 of the best teams in the whole league. Walter Payton has been on a rampage all season, but his offense ranks just 18th overall. Meanwhile, Minnesota's been as good as it gets with the combo of Cunningham and Smith, but Chicago ranks number 1 in total defense this season. It should be a great game between 2 of the best teams in the league. First in the NFC North is on the line this Sunday. 1972 Dolphins, 1990 Bills. The temperature should be just above freezing for this game in Orchard Park, and a rematch of the Week 4 thriller from the sweltering heat in Miami, won by the Dolphins 31-24. It was a classic football game where Jim Kelly threw 3 of his 6 interceptions on the season against that Miami defense. Buffalo comes in as a 6th ranked offense, but Miami's been a bit more efficient in the first and third down category, courtesy of Bob Greasy's timely passes and a punishing running game led by Hall of Famer Larry Zonka. Miami is an unspectacular 8-2, but coming in red hot off of their overtime win at Carolina, and with a victory on Sunday, they would own the best record in the whole league at 9-2. Week 11 of the greatest team season is complete, but the Extra Point Show rolls on, as is the rest of content of the DSFL this coming Sunday with Charger Dude 95. Until then, visit DreamSeasonFootballLeague.com. That is DreamSeasonFootballLeague.com for stats, news, highlights, analysis, and much, much more of the greatest team season. Until then, I am Nick Rice, and this has been The Extra Point.